friends, and welcome to a cozy weekend knitting / reading vlog. The goal this weekend is to finish my husband a beanie for his birthday. My husband is out of town right now and his birthday is at the end of this month. If you've been following me, you know that we are moving abroad to Australia at the end of this month. So that has very much been overshadowing the fact that my husband's birthday is the day before our flight. And I did order him a gift, but I'm someone that loves to make things for people I love. So I usually like to crochet or knit my husband and my son things for their birthdays and holidays if I can and if I have the time. And as I said, with us moving abroad at the end of the month, my husband needed to take some things up to his brother's house so that like our very valuable things aren't just sitting in a storage unit for the next 2 years while we're out of the country. So while he's gone, my son and I are alone in the house and I can finally work on knitting him a project since he's been working from home for this company over in Australia and he's always around. I can't knit him something with him right there. So my husband has a beanie that he is obsessed with. I'll put a picture here. He's literally always in it. And I've made him other beanies, but he just doesn't wear them as much. And it always like offends me a little bit. I'm like, I put so much effort into that. Why aren't you wearing it? So I've decided I'm going to make him another one, but it's going to be a replica of the one he has in a different color. And hopefully like the perfect fit because I know exactly how he likes his beanies. And I've learned that from getting it wrong 2 times now. So I'm hoping to knit him a new beanie that he will love for his birthday. So as of right now, all I've got is I've worked like an inch of the ribbing at the bottom of the beanie, and I'll put a photo up right here of the pattern I am following. But right now our entire house is in boxes and I'm very much looking forward to just not really focusing on packing for the weekend. My husband told me like, just take care of Arthur, watch some movies, eat some snacks, and don't worry about packing this weekend. So I'm like, got you, except he has no idea I'm gonna be knitting him a hat. So let's get cozy and let's work on knitting a beanie, and maybe we'll read a little bit throughout this vlog. I'm currently reading The Serpent's Curse by Lisa Maxwell, which is book 3 in the Last Magician series. I'm really loving that series, but I do feel like I'm having a hard time getting into this 3rd book a little bit. It's so long. I think that's part of it, is seeing that there's like a 800 something page count. I'm like, oh, this is going to take me some time to get through, because the last book was like 700 something and it took me a little minute. So maybe that's why I'm like, oh, should I read something else? But I really love this series and I want to keep reading it because it's everything I love. It's got time travel and it's everything I love. So I definitely want to keep reading it. I think I'm currently 13% through the book. So I will update you at the end of this weekend and as we go along what my thoughts are. I really love the characters and there are just a lot of POVs. And I think that's what pulls me out because like I love Esta and Hart and I care about every character, but I don't like following their storylines as much as I want to be following Hart's and Esta's. But now I think it's time that I go sit and watch Cars with my son and knit up a storm. Just a moment of appreciation for my new Stars Hollow shirt that already has a pizza stain on it. So I am more than halfway through this brim and I just realized I misread the first step of this pattern and I didn't do twisted rib, I did regular ribbing. So I think I'm gonna rib it back because I want this beanie to be perfect. I really want it to replicate his actual beanie that he really loves and I haven't gotten that far. So I think I'm gonna wind this back up and start over.
If you're going hard enough left, you'll find yourself.
Does it smell? It smells like feet. Hot. Yes, the stove is hot. Hey, can you close the fridge, please? I just spent 2 hours getting my son to bed. He was asking for dada because, as I said, my husband's out of town. So I'm done knitting for the night. I'm definitely going to do some reading in bed, and I assume he's probably going to want some snuggles, and I'm going to soak that up, and I'll update you in the morning with how much I read and show you the progress I made in knitting. But I'm pretty much back where I started, but now the rib is twisted rib instead of regular. So good night. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It is time for a little whip update. Yes, I am wearing the same sweater as last night. It is super cozy. I've got my coffee, I've got my project bag, and it's time to do a little update and talk about some of my thoughts thus far on this pattern. So because I messed up yesterday and had to start over, I didn't want to do anything wrong. So I followed the pattern to a T, even though now I know I didn't have to do a certain part. I taught myself how to do the provisional cast on, and by taught myself, I mean I watched a YouTube tutorial. That is how I teach myself everything. But anyways, I did the provisional cast on because that's what the pattern called for, and I didn't need to because I've done a double folded collar on like every sweater I've ever knit, and I never needed a provisional cast on for that. So it's honestly just going to be a headache figuring out how to unravel it instead of just doing it as I usually would. I'm definitely either halfway or more than halfway on the brim. Today my goal is to get like halfway done with the hat. My husband doesn't get home until tomorrow night, so I have time to work on it. And all the beanies I've ever made before only took me 2 days to knit anyways. I just really want to make sure I get it done before my husband comes home so that I'm not trying to work on the project with him around and getting caught red-handed. Another really exciting thing is that my husband and I just paid our deposit on our townhome in Canberra, Australia, and we move in on the day that we fly in. So I think it's the 28th. With the time change and the flight change, we're literally gonna lose a whole day, and we're gonna get there 2 days later from when we take off. However, we've been working on securing this cute little townhome. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's fully furnished, which is everything we could need since we're going to be living there kind of temporarily. We're gonna be there for about 18 months. So we didn't wanna have to ship our furniture. We weren't gonna do that. It's not feasible cost-wise. And we did not want to have to buy a whole bunch of furniture, but if we had to furnish a small apartment, like we could get a bed and things like that. After factoring in the conversion of Australian dollars to US dollars, we're going to be paying less for a townhome that's fully furnished than we would for like, and a 2-bedroom at that, than we would for a 1-bedroom apartment here in America that's unfurnished. We feel so fortunate that we were able to buy our home in January of 2020, right before COVID, right before the market surge, and that we have been able to sell before anything changes with that. Okay, I know that the market has damaged a lot of people's ability to buy homes. We're so thankful that it didn't damage our ability to sell our home, because we don't want to live in Virginia forever. Even when we come back from Australia, we will not be coming back to this home. We will not be coming back to this state. I'm just very, very thankful for the closing of this chapter, even though we love this home so much. We brought our son home here. It's a really bittersweet thing to see all the mugs going into storage and everything coming off the walls. I've left a few things just so that we can, you know, have a semblance of home right now, but I mean, everything's really coming off the wall and going into storage this week once my husband gets home. So it's really, really hard to leave this home knowing that this is where we grew our family and this was our first home, and I'm very, very excited for the next chapter. So that is the end of our little chatty update, and I think it's time we get knitting. I am finally done with the brim of the beanie. I have all my little scraps here from getting the provisional cast on off. I am so thankful to be on the body of this beanie. It should be pretty smooth sailing from here. I have been knitting for only a year and some change now, but because I crocheted before knitting has been so easy, or not easy, but seamless for me to pick up, and I usually can pick up new techniques very easily. This provisional cast on was the most frustrating and pointless thing I've literally ever done in my knitting journey. And it was just needlessly stressful because, as I said, I know how to do a double folded brim without doing that technique. I just was following the pattern. So I'm really annoyed that I wasted literally so much time trying to get that provisional cast on off for no reason. It should be smooth sailing from here. I did forget to update how much I read last night. I read 50 pages in my book. I had a really hard time sleeping last night. I was exhausted, but it's hard to sleep when you're used to a partner being in bed with you. Arthur and I snuggled all night. I literally was on my husband's side of the bed, and he had the whole rest of the bed, and we have like a barrier gate so that he can't fall off the other side, but he was up against me on my husband's side of the bed, and I'm like on the edge. My dog is very, very old and struggling. Like, she can't get on the bed anymore. Even if we pick her up, like, she has a hard time getting down when she needs to go get water. So I've talked about it a little bit on my Instagram, but we are going to be having to say goodbye to her this week. We knew this was coming for a long time, like whether or not we were moving to Australia. And honestly, we've just kind of held on to her as long as we possibly could. We got her at what they estimated to be 8 at the shelter. And that was like 7 years ago now. So she's probably 14 or 15. Could be a little younger, could be a little older. And she's had a lot of like health issues and some strokes, like old dog syndrome strokes. So we're thankful for the time we've had with her, and it's really hard. There's a lot of changes happening all at once because we're selling our house, we're moving across the globe, we're saying bye to our dog, we're reselling the car we just bought this past year because we didn't think we were going to be doing all of this. So a lot of things are happening, and it's all, you know, we're starting a new chapter, and I'm thankful for the years we've had with Zulu, and I just hope she knows how loved she is and how, you know, we are going to miss her. I didn't mean to make this so sad and dark. I'm going to make us something to eat because my son's getting in the fridge now. So I'll catch up with you later. Hi friends, so it is much later in the day now. Once nap time rolled around, I tried to start lunch, but as soon as the air fryer was done, my son woke up. After that, I got really stressed out about stuff we needed to pack, so I ended up like stress packing. I didn't knit for a while, but got some stuff packed, so I'm feeling better, and I sat down and knit a little bit. I'm about to make us a cute little snack tray while we watch some Bluey, and I'm gonna knit. I have done a few rows, but I'm definitely not halfway yet, which is the goal for today. I started listening to Daughter of Smoke and Bone on audio because the audiobook came in on my Libby app from my library. So I think I'm like maybe 10% into that audiobook. I was listening while rocking my son.
Quack.
Duck.
Quack.
Time for a little whip update. I am on the very last section of the body repeat, and then I will start decreasing for the top of the head. I always forget when you're doing beanies that the halfway mark isn't like halfway up the beanie. It is like down here somewhere because of the decreases. Like you start having significantly less stitches on your needles as soon as you're done with the body repeat. So I was definitely halfway earlier when I said I wasn't, and now I'm like really almost done. Like I'll probably finish this. My son's probably gonna wake up before I get very far. I will definitely finish this in the morning, and I'm so glad that my husband's handmade beanie will be ready for his birthday. Every time I've made him a beanie, there's something like kind of off about the fit of it that doesn't really work perfectly for him. So I'm hoping that this one will be the perfect beanie because it's literally a replica of his favorite beanie. So I'm hoping it's big enough. It's looking quite small and like it fits me comfortably. But I'm just hopeful that it will fit him really well. So I'm probably gonna get myself a few Oreos and a little mug of milk to dip it in because I'm used to having a nice little treat with my husband in the evenings, and he's not here, so I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna knit, and when when my son wakes up, I'll lay down with him and get some snuggles and some pages in while on the Kindle, so some taps. I really want to make a video soon about how I feel like I've fully converted to being a Kindle girly. Like I thought that when I got the Kindle it was so that I could read at night, but I never thought that I'd be like, oh, I prefer a Kindle to a physical book. Since we're going to be moving abroad, like that's obviously a factor. Like all my books are going in storage. They're already gone. My bookshelf used to be here. They're already in storage. And like I thought that would be a lot harder for me, but honestly putting yarn in storage is harder for me because I can't Kindle my yarn. I can't Kindle knitting. So it's really nice to be able to be a bookworm on the go and in bed at night. Last night I journaled, and I journaled again tonight after I got my son down, and I've been reflecting on why I don't feel very competent as a mother and have to like prove to myself that I am, and like I'm allowed to spend our days in pajamas. I'm allowed to watch a movie with my son, and we're allowed to just be cozy. Like also not guilt myself for rest as a mother. I'm just starting to feel like I can trust my own intuition more and trust that I know what my son needs and what I need. It just is really nice to see my growth as a mother because I have doubted myself for so long. I'm trying to let that go. So I'm going to start some knitting, and I will probably catch up with y'all in the morning. I finished the hat. I do feel like it's a little tight, like not tight, but like short in height. My husband's number one complaint about every beanie he's ever had, not just ones I've made him, just in general, are always that they are too puffy and like there's too much slouch. I really tried to make this one shorter, but I think it could end up being a little too short. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I love the color. I actually am currently making the Lazy Cat cardigan by Kika, Katova Kika here on YouTube. I have finished the body and a sleeve, but I have to work on the second sleeve and the button band, and it's in this same yarn. I don't know if I ever said the yarn, but I knit this in Lion Brand's Woolies, the recycled version of it in color olive. I love this tone so much. It's such a beautiful green. I read a little bit. Let me go grab my Kindle and do an update. Well, I just got a clear case and did a bunch of beautiful stickers. A lot of them are Swiftie themed. I'm so in love with it. So I'm 15% through The Serpent's Curse, 16%, and that's page 145 out of 843. So it's a pretty long book. I'm enjoying it. But also this weekend, I got to, I think, 13% of the way through my audiobook of Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which unexpectedly came in from my library. And so I listened to that while I held my son to get him to sleep and stuff like that. And also while I stress packed, because every time I get stressed about our move, I just pick a space and start packing it. So many little things. Some things need to be donated. Some things I need to rehome, such as all my plants. Honestly, as such an anxious person, I have always been the person to talk myself out of doing or talk anyone out of making me do anything stressful. I'd rather do the comfortable thing. And when we made this decision to take this offer and opportunity in Australia, we had a safe option. My husband had another job offer at the same time that was here in the States. If we don't adventure now, we never will. And if not now, when? Because my son is a toddler right now, and sure, that's super stressful to be like, okay, we're gonna fly across the globe with a toddler. But if we wait until he's in school, we're gonna be like, oh, we can't uproot him from school. Really proud of us for making it happen and for doing such a scary, big, huge thing that's gonna be so fun. So I'm about to unravel the hat. The reason why I am unraveling it is not because I am a perfectionist. I hope the dog tapping around doesn't bother you, because it's just gonna be. The reason I am unraveling is because my husband has a slightly larger head than myself. To test drive the hat, I wore it out on a walk with my son. Like 4 times the hat slipped off my head. So if the hat's gonna be falling off my head, it's definitely gonna come off of his. Like, I don't want to have knit another beanie for him with the hopes that it becomes his new everyday beanie and it not work out. I would rather spend the time and effort unraveling the decrease rows. Right now I'm picking up the stitches and then I'm going to unravel. I just want to make sure they're safely on the needles before undoing the yarn. Let me know what you are working on this weekend. I am going to go unravel this, and hopefully next time I update you, this is bigger. Hi cozy friends, take 2 on having finished the hat. I was able to add on another round of the pearls, and now I know it's not gonna come riding off of his head like it was mine earlier, because it fits me much better and is a little almost oversized on me, which means it's gonna fit him perfectly. But I'm exhausted. I got literally no sleep last night, and I was cleaning so that the house would look like I wasn't knitting all weekend. Not that he would care, but I would have nothing to show for it, because I'm not gonna show him the hat until his birthday. I've got to go hide the hat. But I hope you enjoyed this cozy video, and I'd love for you to join my cozy corner by subscribing so you never miss another cozy video with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a very cozy day.